Alrighty then, mic check, Mentorship Monday. Let's go. We've got a lot of cool new features to cover, so welcome back. Let's get to it. It is Monday, and hopefully I can make it through this one with my voice. I have gotten little sleep. Let's see, top left. If you've got the new install set up, then your setup should look a little bit like this. Out of the box, 5 charts. Don't forget, if you are brand new with us, this, again, is only valid through the July the 1st. We're going to talk about the Enigma settings and the new features inside of the Enigma, but if you're watching this at a later time, this may not apply to you at all because this is the last time we're ever letting Enigma go full auto. For those of you guys who have it, congratulations. You guys will be able to get some mugs on our website, which is going to be cool, the Enigma Club, because you guys are an exclusive group. So let's talk about the new features. If you have installed already, you should have gotten this on the main chart there. This will have all of those features in case you want to go back and look at them, play around with them, etc. I'm just going to basically play with them myself here tonight and try to get any questions answered you guys might have. So I'm going to start at the top of the list there. So the AlgoBox trade copier. So let's talk about how that works. In order to enable it, what I would do is create a separate chart, kind of like this one. This is kind of the example. I would probably put it off on the side somewhere, maybe on a secondary monitor, so that it has kind of like it's all by itself. Now, can you put it on another chart? There's nothing specifically stopping you around it, but just for performance sake and organization's sake, I would probably be putting this on its own chart. So let's go into the settings of this one. I'm going to right click and go into my indicators here. And I'm going to scroll down, and if I were to add this for the first time, I'm going to be looking for the AlgoBox _ trade copier right here. If you double click it, it will go down into your configured section down here, like I've got right here. So once you have that indicator on a chart, on the right, you will have the parameters laid out here for you. Okay, so why 19 accounts? Well, the only trade service that we're aware of in the trader funding space that allows multiple duplicated accounts is Apex, that allows up to 20 accounts to be traded at the same time. So you need a leader account and then, in theory, 19 follower accounts. Now, I have heard that somebody would like it to be 20. We will take that into consideration. If you guys would like to see 20 so that you can copy from a sim. So I have heard that people like to do the leader account as their sim 101, and then they want to apply their 20 accounts after. So we're taking that into consideration. If you would like that, put it in the wish list section. So we will potentially go ahead and add another one in this list here, but very simple. At the very top of the list, this is going to be your leader account up there at the top. And you can basically select which one you want to be your primary, and everything else will be a copy down from that, down this direction. So everything down here would be a copy of the original one. Now, there's nothing fancy about this. This is not super complex like Replicanto or any of the other trade copies out there. And that may be good or bad. This means that our code is extremely lightweight and it just does exactly what it says it does. And we are just, boom, hitting it and going with it. Now, again, we're not trying to claim that we are the best at the trade copier. I've just put it together so that it would be your basic, straight, run-of-the-mill copy to copy, 1-to-1. There's no, oh, well, I want to trade from my NQ down to my MNQ. There's nothing fancy like that. If you want to do all that, you need to get a different trade copier. But this just happens to be an option for you. I would test it, play around with it in simulated environments before you go smashing it live, if you know what I'm saying, right? Same typical stuff like I would always say on you to make sure you test that out. Okay. Let me turn the sound down a little bit there. That's the thing that's gonna be a little bit too loud here for my ear. There we go. There we go. So this might be what you might be looking at there. If you've got your, so if I wanted to copy my sim account down to the Apex accounts here, and then my sim 101, my optimization, and my walk forward accounts. So this would be going from basically these accounts into these 8. Make sense? Pretty straightforward. So I wanted to go into what's there. So on the trade copier, there is an on-off button over here on the right. So once I've got the configuration, now you basically turn it on. If that is on, then it is going to be copying those over. If you want to turn it off, it is as simple as turn it off. Now, there might be situations where, like, if you need to kill everything, there's the flatten all button, right? We have that. You'll need to have that with the AlgoBox buttons turned on your chart trader, but this is not part of the trade copier. Remember, this is the AlgoBox buttons indicator. You have the half, double, and flatten included in our buttons. So if I right click, go to indicators on this one, make sure that you have the buttons added to your configured list here, which is going to be AlgoBox button panel there. You can change the colors and things on that. Also, don't forget, people have forgotten that there is a hotkey for this. People have asked, hey, can I do a hotkey for the half position button? Yes, it is Control-Alt-Shift-H. I'm like, well, can I change it? No, we're not that fancy. So we've hard-coded that to Control-Alt-Shift-H, but then feel free for you to bind that to any key that you want, which we walk through in our hotkeys video. So go if you don't know how to do that. But again, I would recommend that you get the Corsair K55 keyboard or another keyboard with the G keys on the left so that you can do hotkeys for yourself, or work your key mappings in Windows to remap those to any button that you wish or any combination that you wish. But these are the defaults there for double and half if you want to double your current position. So if you're in 2 contracts and you want to double it, D, boom, right? And half, if I want to close out half position, you can hit that as well, or just hit the buttons right there. And the flatten all button, of course, is there to save your tail when you need it, and that will close out all positions across all accounts for that instrument. Now, test that, make sure it works. There is also a flatten all feature inside of NinjaTrader, or if you are with Apex, there is a flatten all feature inside of their own trader area there as well, and I won't be showing that. You guys need to talk with them about that. I don't want to be working through, and supporting third-party stuff, so you guys know the drill, right? So be careful, but it's there for you. Is it different? Yes, it is. Let's look at settings button right here, but that just opens up this right here so that you can go straight to your account information details with the drop down if you hit that little button right there. So that's the little icon there. Okay. All right, next one. So the no fiddle zone shows the no fiddle zone, the background color when instrument is in the fiddle zone. So we have traditionally had the fiddle zone here, which I'll go ahead and talk in about the no fiddle zone area first. Go to indicators on the Mac V, and I'm going to go into the Vinny's Mac V entry system settings. And if I scroll right here, we've got show deviations, and then right here, show region highlight right here. This is that region there that you can have that highlighted there for the standard deviation area, level 1. So show region highlight, it's checked by default now, so it should already be checked, but if you're wondering where that is, I think later on we'll probably come back and go ahead and call this the fiddle area, because a lot of people are referring to it as that, because you guys have heard me talk about don't fiddle in the middle, and we're talking about the fiddle zone and all that for a while now, so we've adopted that. So we will probably rename that to the fiddle or something like that in the future. So if you're watching this at a later time, it is going to be the highlight fiddle zone in future releases. Now, the cool part is the AlgoBox no fiddle zone is going to be able to be projected onto a even lower time frame chart, so that if you didn't want to refer over to the Mac V chart and you wanted it just on your low time frames, say the 2s, the 3s, or the 1s, I can right click here, go into indicators. If I scroll down, I'm looking for the no fiddle zone right here. So if I double click this, now it's in my configured area list here on the bottom, no fiddle zone option here. Now over on the right, here are your fiddle zone colorings. So I like to just kind of make it a lighter gray, but I'll make it a little bit more here for this demonstration purpose here, but you can change it. Actually, let's make it something dramatic. Let's make it magenta. All right, that's pretty bright there, bro. So let's zoom it back, and you can see some of the spaces where we were in that fiddle zone versus inside or outside of that fiddle zone. And if you want to make sure that you are taking trades inside or outside of it, and you want them right here on this chart, you can do that, and you can play with those settings. And of course, I think there is not an option. Someone had asked if there was an option for transparency. Currently there is not. We may put that in our list, but if you wanted a darker color, for instance, or something that doesn't stand out as much, just choose a lighter color. This slate gray active background from NinjaTrader I think is pretty good. Kind of, shows you it without it being too dramatic. That's kind of one of my favorites right there. I kind of like to use that right there, so I know if the background is gray, that I know, these are, you know, kind of gray areas, right? You're trading in the gray. Be careful if you are trading there. So that's the no fiddle zone. New feature. Talk about the time regions. So the AlgoBox time regions. We have some different zones that I have talked about when I kind of divide up the day. So scroll down. Let's get to the time regions. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that to our lowest time frame chart here. You do have two color selections. You have the alert color and the warning color. So the warning, if we come into a region that is currently, if I've got it set this way, then it's gonna be yellow for the warning and Dodger blue to put the background for the time of day. Now the various ones that we've got here, let's zoom these in a bit. So we got the morning session, the 940 to 950, the 1010, morning beast, all the different things that I talk about, BTFD, the 350 algo in the afternoon, lucky sevens. So you can have the warnings show up there for you ahead of time, and you can choose the settings for those, and you do have opacity settings for this one as well. Now the warning time threshold, this is based in minutes, so this one is probably one of the key items that you might want to look at. I want to be warned 2 minutes before one of these times comes up, so I've got it set to 2. That's our default right now, but feel free to change that to whatever you want. And let's look at what that might look like. Let me go page up here and see if we can find some sections. Let's go to like the 10:10 coffee zone time, 10:10. All right, so there's the 2 minutes before right there in that yellow zone. And then if I scroll it to the right here, right there, so that's 10:08 to 10:10, boom, and then now we change another color. Of course, it's a little bit even more weird color there because we've got we've got regions covering regions. So you know, take it or leave it. If you like it, fantastic. If you don't, that's okay too. You could potentially, if you only wanted the warning, for instance, like that's kind of a way that I will probably use it. I will not color the zone itself. There are some good where it's like, okay, well, if you wanted to see it in hindsight or if you wanted to do a back test, this could be helpful. But when I'm trading intraday, I will probably only have the warning colors on so that I know kind of 2 minutes ahead of time. While I'm actually in that region, I don't want to necessarily know it. Does that make sense? So for my alert color, I might set it to transparent, and that is a color option. So here you go, set to transparent. Then it won't give me a color for that one, and I'll only get then the warning zone ahead of time. Makes sense? And so if I wanted to change my region opacity, so my warning opacity, if I want it to full, then I'm putting it on 1 and it's going to be bright, right? So it's like, boom, I am going to warn you, right, coming up there. So that is your time regions, and you don't have to have all of them. You can select which ones you want. Like for me, I really want to be warned before the 350 algo. How many times has the 350 algo caught me off guard, right? So I may want to uncheck all these and just the 350, right? That would be a huge one for me. The 940 to 950, I probably don't really need that one for me, so I'd uncheck that one. The morning session warning, probably not that one for me. Beast mode, not really one for me either. The 1010, I kind of do want that one for the warning. 220 reversal, no, because I kind of come in the afternoon for that one. BTFD, I do want that one, and the 350, and I don't necessarily need lucky sevens because that one I can pretty much all see anyway. So I'm probably going to keep on the 1010 coffee time afternoon session, the BTFD, and the 350 for me. Those three are probably going to be my mains, and I'm going to go ahead and select OK on that for myself. There we go. All right, let's go to our next new feature, Enigma target line parameter. So before I add Enigma on here, did I see any other questions? Will it alert the end of session? That's not on there, but I have not thought of needing that one. But if you want that one, here's how you can put in a request for any feature that if we may not have something, go into the wish list section in Discord. Just basically give a description of what you're looking for, preferably with a screenshot or a video would be amazing. Some things only need to be explained. So type it there in the wish list and we will definitely consider it for a future release. Okay, the Enigma target line parameter. So for that one, I'm going to go ahead and switch workspaces so we can also talk about workspaces. So I'm going to go ahead and remember when we do our installation, we have multiple workspaces during our install, and I'm going to switch over to Enigma bot standard. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about Enigma target lines. So let's see, if go to the ones, so it will be a bit more dramatic. So AlgoBar ones, one of my favorites to work off of. Also, let's go to the settings. These are probably defaulted to level 2, and I'll talk about that as well. Someone asked earlier today, hey Vinny, you know, mine looked different than yours on a live stream. That has to do, remember, right here with this confluence level. Okay, so there, we talk about this in other streams. I won't go into massive details here, but generally on the ones, I like to use level 3, and there's a lot of details around that. So the new features are here under the optics settings, and this will show the Enigma target. You can set it to what you want. We default it to 20 because you guys know me. I consider a successful Enigma if the Enigma pushed the position of the price. I don't say it pushes it, but I'm saying if it determined it, and the price went 20 ticks before it went to the stop behind the Enigma, right? There it is. It's just that right there. I say just that, but so visually, if I were to look to the left, this is really helpful for scrolling back and looking at backtest things. Be like, okay, so how many were successful in a row? So those 2 were obviously successful. They went down and hit those pretty quickly. Sometimes I want to do the cadence, so I want to see one that didn't go. That's 3 in a row. That's 4 in a row. Okay, so right here, these kind of were a mixed bag, but interestingly enough, these both won. Like, this is type of scenario where that's pretty close, right? You're like, I'm not really sure if that one went or not, and you end up having to get your measuring tool out. You know, this saves you from doing this thing. All right, dun. Okay, so it saves you 3 clicks, you know, visually being able to go back, whereas you might want to count that as a loser because you're like, oh, well, it didn't go. It doesn't look like it went 20 ticks. But then you find out, well, actually it did. So that was another winner. Makes sense? So that one, obviously, winner. Go to, see if we can find a loser. Another winner. Good. See, look at that. Missed it. Very first move, we missed it by a tick. Easy to see very quickly that, oh man, that one missed it by a tick. 19 ticks and then came back up, but you can see we didn't stop out. So another winner. Let's see. Oh, finally a loser. But isn't it helpful to see that even after it came back, okay, 2 try rule, if you were to 2 try rule and end up coming down and targeting again. Enigma, so powerful. Finally, an absolutely clean, you cannot argue with this one, loser right there. And I like to mark it like this, F11, and I go, boom, loser. All right, great. So had a loss, one that did not work. Of course, and it keeps on going now, but whatever. All right, so that one, another winner. Not a winner. That one's a loser. Okay, so we went back behind it ahead of time. This one right there, same thing. Both of those did not hit before they went to stop. So I've got 2 losers in a row. So now my cadence is turned on for me. I love a good cadence. Get me 2 in a row. Now I want to take the next one. Targets filled all the way down for the runner. Beautiful stuff there. That's how I check on cadence. Turbo risk parameter to increase the size of the AO cross reticle. So you might be confused as to what this is. Let me tell you some context of why I created this one to begin with, because that will help you to determine and understand why it's there to begin with. You might be like, well, why would it matter? Why do I want larger reticles? Well, for me, what I ended up finding was when I'm trading on lower time frames, the stop value is very small, which you're like, oh, that's pretty good. So if I'm going to measure from the middle of the cross, if I'm going to take a play off of that, and you'll notice that, so on the ones down here, that is a value of 10 ticks. Well, generally speaking, I want to put the stop behind one of those, but I have found that a 10 tick stop repetitively is a little bit too small. Surprise, surprise, right? Even down on the ones, it's like, and 2 try rule is good, so I would go back at it. But I was like, if I could just make these a little bit bigger, right? So that's what we did. And it gives myself the extra, I'm giving it 15 ticks, which you guys know that's kind of my standard. Smallest that I'm going to do is 15. So we have this new feature. You guys have seen me use turbo risk is what I call it on our full auto systems and some others. You see that turbo risk option. That usually means, okay, increase my risk from what I normally would be doing, right? So turbo risk option, turn that on, and turbo risk is going to increase the size of your reticles, so that if you put your stop back behind it, it's going to be, you know, that it's getting 15 ticks. And if you hover your, if you hover your mouse now over these, we have added tooltip text there. So if you're ever wondering, hey, what does this feature do? You should be able to hover your mouse, and please don't give me a graphic or a grammar check on, yes, we should be capitalizing, change the AO tails, and we could put more details on that, but you know, maybe next release. All right. Don't kill us for the descriptions. All right. So there we go. Turbo risk. Now, if I move this over to the right, I'm going to hit apply. So watch the size of the tail change on that one right there. So now if I were to put my stop back behind there, and this is a perfect example, right? This was technically a stop out before if I'm taking it long, but now with the stop value being down below, right? See, now I'm in the right place. Everybody get that? Everybody like that feature? It's pretty cool. I know it's subtle, but I think it's pretty awesome. So you guys will be seeing that. You might be like, hey, Vinny, how come my alpha omegas aren't as big as yours are? Well, mine's bigger. Let's pull up the workspace for standard 1080p. And next, the ultimate obos parameter to increase, decrease the size of the triangles on the divergence. Okay, now I think we currently might have a bug. So yeah, so this one we're probably gonna have to put a bug fix out for, but you will be able to adjust the size. Oh, there we go. Let me put a small, sorry. That could be why. Yeah, we got a bug in it. Okay, so hold on that. We will get this fixed and there'll be a new, yeah, we basically worked that, and it happened after the, funny enough, happened after the secondary release from last night. So let's come back to that. That is supposed to be a triangle, but it's giving an ASCII text character for it instead. But let me show you the parameters while we're here anyways of what you will be able to do with that. So people have asked, hey, can we change the size of those so that I can adjust my stop? Same deal. Now you can change the color as well. Although, again, I really like to keep our stuff standard in general, but we've had so many people ask, hey, okay, cool. So we'll give in on occasions. So you can do small, medium, or large around how big you would like to make those triangles, how much you want them to stand out. If you want to use them, this really comes to some of the people who wanted to use this on the lower time frames, even though, you know, I don't traditionally use it that way. So if you hear some people in the chat talking about using it, you know, you can trade how you want. We'll put it that way. All right, you don't have to trade like me. And this one is called the position manager. So if you were to change the text colorings or anything else, first let me show you guys what the default looks like. So these are the buttons that you see on live stream for me. I use these quite often. Stack 30, one of my favorites, to pop all my stops back behind an area. Targeting, if I want to do each tick near, each tick far. We've gone over these in previous releases because these are not brand new. But what is new is being able to save the colors. So let's say that I want to change this color scheme. I've seen some really cool ones. One of our members had blue. I kind of want to change mine to blue, so I'm going to do that. I'm like, yeah, let me do those blue ones. Oh yeah, those are cool. I like the blue. So I've got blue buttons over here on the left now. And on the right, maybe instead of red, I want a darker red, which, how about this one here? Boom, there we go. A little more subtle down there. I like it. So now I can save those. You can also change the color of the text. I don't know, let's get crazy with it and let's do some cyan. You want some cyan colored text going on down there. There you go. So now that will save. Before that was having a hard time saving. And of course you can make those bigger or smaller as well inside of the buttons. Also take a note, some people were confused with the text went away. If you shrink it, watch how the text will disappear. Not really disappear, but it will give you shorthand. So people have asked, hey, what's S20, S30 and all that? So we've just compressed it, and you know, you kind of have to remember what they were or expand it out to go, oh yeah, stack 30, every other tick far. So EOTF, what's EOTF? Every other tick far, you know what I'm saying? So next item we've got is for the Enigma power levels. Oh shoot, we need a drum roll on this one. This is juicy. Yeah, we'll talk about how I use them more so in the live streams. So make sure you guys show up tomorrow morning on the live streams, or check out this afternoon's live stream where we had some real-time setups, and you'll hear kind of how I read through those numbers and which ones that I'm really going to be smacking down on versus ones that I might go, maybes. So these numbers, power levels, simple idea here, a lot like the Alpha Omega tunings. I put the tuning ranges around these to be like the Alpha Omegas so that your range is from 1 to 25. Okay, so high side is going to be 25. It can go to 30, but you're hardly ever going to see that. If you do, I mean, you're talking about something superiorly crazy going on there. Beyond really, you know, over 21 is going to be extremely rare. But there's a 21 right there, for example. But same kind of concepts around. So for instance, you know, a 9's kind of weak, right? No surprise, right? Did it even get to the, you know, didn't, right? So good area where you might be able to start to filter. How about this one? Yeah, technically this one went there and tapped, but here we are, you know, very close on that one. You can't say, you know, it's not going to be like, oh, well, an 8 doesn't work. Well, obviously it does. And I love, you know, you've got it right there. You can see an 8.8. Am I going to hit an 8.8? You'll be able to do your own filterings. Well, here's one at 0. Let's think about that, right? Maybe I'm not going to take a 0. That might be problematic. I don't know. You can kind of start to filter some of these, yeah? Now, does that mean that a 20 is going to work every time? No, because here's a 20. That didn't work, right? So it's not going to be 100%, but you might be able to start finding some pattern in there, maybe a combination of the number itself plus outside the fiddle, for instance. Make sense? Nikita said, should we consider L4 with 20 to be stronger than L1 with 20? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so when you're looking at combinations of the confluence level for the drop down plus the power level, yes. Now, again, I can't tell you if the one's going to be a winner or loser, okay? But if you're just going, you know, what should be, bigger is better. Make sense? In theory. At the same time, you can have something all lined up, and we all know this, and anything in the markets, you can have everything saying green from here to Tokyo, and it goes short, right? So, and when that happens, that can also tell you something though, can it? Right? All of a sudden a break of a major, right? That should be, right? Sometimes that could mean, okay, well now we've got position opposite direction. I can look for the other side, right? Type of thing. So, but yes, the idea there is the bigger that's going to be, then the bigger stuff's coming. Yeah, exactly. Precisely. Okay. So power numbers, the range is, obviously we saw a 0 and, you know, high side, it's going to be 30. But you're going to see a range generally from the trades that I'm going to be wanting to look to take is going to be greater than 10. Kind of same thing with alpha omegas. You know, for me, I want a, you know, 10 to 20, and I might size up on my 20s. You know, might be a theory. So again, how you want to apply those, kind of up to you. We'll talk about various strategies to employ while we go through live streams and all that. Let's go into some more stuff for new options. All right, next feature, Enigma bot panel, entry enhancement for reversing positions. This is more of it's a cool factor thing. If you are reversing your positions or you've got on full auto, taking positions in the other side, like basically we have enhanced that. So some people are also getting some lockups when position shifting was occurring. And so bug fix plus performance enhancement around that feature. So there's nothing really I can show you. Just know that the Enigma bot panel is functioning even better than ever. And that's good news. Yeah. Okay. MACV entry system, auto region highlight histogram for the no fiddle zone. I showed you guys that one at the very beginning, but that one is this one right there. Auto fill for you if you select the region highlight. Therein lies all of the new features. So hopefully you guys are excited about that. And the last thing is, of course, have to reiterate, July the 1st, I am certain that those 50 seats are going to be gone before July the 1st. So if you were deciding on getting in with the full auto, and this is not a sales pitch, this is simply that we do not want to diminish our edge. I don't want so many people entering in on, like, look at these awesome plays that we've gotten on the Enigma. If I pop back over to that workspace, I don't want to diminish these amazing setups and plays because, oh, we get too many people popping in on that, and now I can't get my 20 ticks because the market's like, oh, 500 people pressing the button all at the same time, going down, yeah, you know, and then we're yanking back up in live accounts. Bot panel with AO for entry. That is probably going to be a platinum members only feature if that ever does come out, and yeah, that'll be for platinum only. That is our new feature list there for what's coming out there. People have asked how many seats are left. So earlier today it was 41. We had 2 other calls with other folks here, and 2 more went out the door. We are at 39. There are 39 seats left. So if you want one, hop into the Discord channel chat. You have to be a Discord member. It's not available on the website. You would have to go to the Discord, and at the top left in the announcements section, there is a summer offer there. and you can take advantage of that. What are the questions that we got there? So glad I pulled the trigger to join. Awesome, Chris. Great to have you, my friend. Let's see about panel. Edward said put that on the wish list. Okay, yeah, yes, wish list. If you have other things you'd like to see, pop it into the wish list section inside of Discord. Enigma bot panel entry based on the new Enigma value. For example, only enter if value 10.5. Oh, it's a great. Yeah, that one might be something we might put into, put that in the wish list if you want to add that as a potential filter parameter, Carl. Yeah, that would be cool. We can do that. We may do like what we did with the Alpha Megas, and there might be a color change thing that might even make it more visual for you. We've got some other features that are going to come, as we enhance. And don't forget, if you did, buy in with us and you're in lifetime, all upgrades are included in the future. So, people who have asked that, yes, the answer is yes. You bought one. You bought the second one for a friend. That's such a kind person there. Speaking of kind, be kind. And before you go, smash that like button for me. We got 49 likes. Let's get to 50. And share this with a friend, and I will catch you guys in the morning. Don't forget, we're doing 2 streams a day right now, morning and afternoon, absolutely annihilating all of these scammers online. Where's ICT? Anybody seen ICT? Like crickets in the wind. I'm gonna win the Robins. La, 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 I'm the best. I'm gonna put out my. You ain't putting out squat, bro. I'll catch you guys in the next one. For me, Pippi, Robbie, Lunchbox, Mod Squad, Curtis, G, and Eddie B. I am sitting out the Big H-Town. See ya in the morning.
The old adage where, the individual investor doesn't have a chance because the institutional investor has better technology, better information, and, more money and better opportunity. I don't think it's real anymore. I think the edge is on the individual investor because they're small, they're nimble, they can trade, they can use they have better front-end technology.
Don't waste your time. Leave the technical analysis to us. You just play the game. Rewind.